fight my battle. I'm so glad about that, because it says Jesus will. You find yourself in circumstances and you find yourself in some issues and you're trying to figure out how do I get through something. I tell you what, I love that song because He will.
Yes. He
will fight your battles. But you know why sometimes He can't fight our battles? Because we stand in the way.
That's right.
We refuse to move.
That's right.
We think that we can do it all by ourselves. We tell you we cannot do it all by ourselves.
That's right.
But I'm telling you what, Jesus will. So I'm so glad to hear that this morning. I can't think of a better song to hear this morning than to know that no matter what circumstance you find yourself in, Jesus will. Amen. We're so good seeing you, those of you that are here, those who've been on vacation and traveled around and doing some things. And let me see, who's that still on vacation? Kim's are still on vacation. No, Tressa, no, they're up in Vermont area enjoying themselves. I'm saying, honey, we're going to take one somewhere. I don't know where we're going, but we're going someplace soon. We're going to get vacation someplace. Where are we going, baby? We're going to be going somewhere. But I do have a word. The Lord He did change some things on me last night. Because I thought I had my message all together, and the Lord says, no, that's not exactly what I want you to speak of. I said, but Lord, I got it together. I've already got it typed out. He said, that's not what I want you to speak of. That's not what I want. That's not what the people need this morning. I said, but Father, I got it. I said, and He said, I know you do, but I don't. So then I had to move and say, okay, Lord, I'll seek your face. It reminds me of the part of my scripture as I was reading it was so important because it was talking about Israel when they were fighting the battle, and Saul was out fighting all these folks, and he was beating up people and killing folks and doing some everything else. And then he says, let's go get the Philistines and kill them, and let's do this and let's do that, and we're going to do this. But the priest that was with him says, you better seek God's face first. You better seek God's face first.
That's right.
And so they did. Because if they had not sought to get God's face first, they'd have lost the battle. So they lost it. So they ended up saying, okay, God. So that's what I had to do. I said, Lord, let me get out the way so you can do what you need to do. But before I even give the message, I had talked to Dr. Etienne beforehand. They had just got back from Haiti. And they had a journey while they were there on this mission trip. And all these things that has transpired as I got word what has taken place. And I said, you know, the congregation needs to hear this. I mean, it's an amazing thing when God is in your plans. And when you're doing according to God, God will bless you with things that you don't even know where it comes from. You think, so many times we think we got all the answers. Oh, right. I know about this because I went to school for this. I know about that because I'm trained to do this, and then God steps in. And everything you thought you learned and everything you thought that you had picked up, you find out that it's not exactly the way it should be. So God does some things. So I'm going to ask Mr. Manat, Dr. Etienne, y'all need to get up here and share this testimony. Because God moved in y'all's life while you were over there. Amen. Everything else may have, but no matter what, God moved in your lives. Amen. So if you guys stand up here just for a moment, please come up here and share some of this. The congregation needs to hear this because it's awesome. It is so awesome. When I heard it, I thought about, man, how powerful God is. Thank you. You got another mic here. You don't need a mic. You going to start first?
We actually have two powerful testimonies, and mine is more involved with the one.
Please share. Please share. Pop got you this time, didn't he? Uh-oh. Please share the testimony.
It was really a tremendous trip. We felt the presence of God at every step along the way. From the faith we had in that white truck, I know the truck had some issues, but we didn't have any other options, so we prayed over it, and I handed the key to someone and said, this truck is going to take us to JFK. There was absolutely no problem. And but when we arrived in Haiti itself, there were some interesting stories that we're not going to take all the time, but we felt that we need to share. Do you want to share yours anyway, man? The one that I personally want to share is a young kid who was playing soccer and really got knocked out in a collision. He was completely out. Now, there's absolutely no way I can do justice to it. But we were outside. Typically in Haiti, when it's raining, people just go inside. But the entire team decided to stay out and enjoy the rain, and the rain was coming on us. And when it came time for us to go back to the residence, instead of going to the residence, someone told us there was a soccer game not too far away. So we decided to take the shuttle bus and then drove toward the soccer field. When we pulled in, it was packed. There was absolutely no place, no area at all. And I'm telling you all that because as we're going through, you can see the providential hand of God through the whole process. Because in my view, there's nothing in it that's coincidental. Because usually, one, when it's raining in Haiti, you look for shelter inside. Everyone sit outside. Number two, when we arrived to the main road, instead of turning left to go to the residence, we turned right to go to a soccer game. Soccer game. We didn't go there for soccer. When we arrived again, there was absolutely no parking. Now there was, for some reason, someone must have just pulled out because there was one spot right in front of the gate. Okay, when we pulled in, so the doors, the shuttle van door was opened immediately to the gate. My team started coming out, and I stayed behind because I was driving. Suddenly, I see a crowd coming in, so I signaled to everyone to come in, thinking that it was a riot or a violence. So one of the team lost, and people were throwing rocks or whatever. So I got everyone in, and suddenly they had a kid who was cold. When I say he was out, there was no life. And unfortunately, it's not like in the States where they bring EMS or anything. So people were just carrying him, and his limbs were flailing, and his neck was going all over. There was nothing, and I don't know where they were going with it. And obviously, once they realized that the doctor is in town, so they stopped. But by that time, my team was already inside the shuttle van. We locked the door and waited. And when they saw that was our van, they came in and dropped the kid right in front of the van. And when I say drop, there was nothing. Okay, just imagine someone who was out. And I didn't want to get involved. Let me just put it that way. Okay, because I was sitting in my van. I'm like, if the kid is dead, I don't want to get involved in my car because I'm out. I'm out of it. And then I started praying. We started praying. And as I was praying, just like I'm having a conversation with you right now, I heard it has to be God's voice telling me very specifically that you are the most experienced medical personnel right now in where you are. Dead or alive, you go out there. Now I can tell you again, I didn't want to listen to that, okay? I didn't. I fought that idea, kept pushing it back, and finally I couldn't get rid of it, so I opened the door, and there was a PA with me, and I said, Steve, let's go outside. And I signaled to the other team, I say, keep praying, guys. And we went out. He had no breath sound. He had no airway. He had no pulse. And he was basically no motion at all. I don't know if we can call that dead, but he was out. Let me just put it that way. But he had nothing. And the last time I do ATLS, Advanced Trauma Life Support, was quite a while ago. Let me just put it that way, because as an orthopedic surgeon in the States, that's not what I get involved with. It's only after someone is stabilized that I get involved in. So I really had absolutely no clue what I was doing. I'm going to confess that. Right now, if you ask me what I did to revive this kid, I'm going to tell you, I don't know. I was pushing on things that I had no business doing because I don't know what I was doing. Okay, I started touching his jaw, and suddenly Steve said, I have a pulse. okay, we're going. It's real business. And obviously the crowd is going crazy, people are making noise. People started crying, and suddenly we have the breath sound. And the kid started moving his head, and eventually actually moved his arm and did everything. I'm quite sure people in the community will give me credit for that, but I can tell you personally, I have absolutely no way.
Yeah.
No way for me to take credit on
That's
that.
right.
This is God's intervention, God's way of maneuvering everything. We took the kid back and put it in our van, took it to the center with an IV line, and finished with the resuscitation based on what we learned. But I can tell you there was nothing on the floor that I did that could have revived that kid. And it was quite obvious to me that this was God's intervention. It's a powerful testimony. Obviously, right now I'm going to a TLS class trying to learn a little something, but this one is on God. That was Him.
Amen.
He didn't even have to use my knowledge or anything to do
That's
anything.
right.
That was Him, and that was Him
That's right.
alone. And interestingly, the most experienced nurses were not even in the van with us because they were away in a different mission that matters before I'm going to go over with.
Wow.
How many surgeries did you do while you were in the
We did 19 surgeries.
19 surgeries?
Very interesting. When this trip, unfortunately, we didn't have an anesthesiologist with us, so I was acting as anesthesiologist also. And whenever that happened, obviously there are some cases I don't want to do. If someone needs general anesthesia, you need someone to monitor it, so I can't do it. But cases that we do under spinal and regional anesthesia or local anesthesia, we did osteotomies where we have to reshape bones and we have some fractures, putting nails in and plates. We have one guy with a broken femur and broken tibia, so open his knee, put a nail up and a nail down to really stabilize. And a couple of kids where we had to put plate. Quite a few infections, a few bones that were healed inappropriately where we had to reset. And the last day we had a guy who was in a motorcycle, a car accident. Again, they just carried him with his leg flailing and bleeding all over and torn, and then they just drop him right in our center. We were already, we had already assembled everything and ready to leave. So we went back and took care of him. It's a worthy cause, actually, when you realize what you can accomplish in such a short period of time with so little. Overall, we saw about 517 patients, plus process, I think 120 extra people who came in, didn't really do a whole lot, but plus we did 19 surgeries. There were 7 major surgeries, and then the rest were minor. And overall, it was, for me personally, honestly, I don't get hooked on the numbers. Not that they're not impressive, but I don't hooked on the numbers. It's the fact that we had a spirit-filled trip. The presence of God was there. We had quite a few students from Pittsburgh University, and to hear their testimony and how they feel the presence of God flowing through the center. Our team leads was very spiritual. To me, that was the most important part of the whole trip. It was, when people ask me how the trip went, the first thing I tell them, it was a spirit-filled trip. Because that was the most important part for me, and I really truly mean that.
Amen, bro.
Awesome.
Amen, bro.
Awesome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Before this trip, I don't know, I'm thanking God because He decided to sometimes speak to me. I don't know why, because I'm not good. I know from the beginning, He has told me that there'll be a lot of challenges. And the team leader was like, it's Lorena, she prays, she's very spiritual. And she was voicing some concern, like worried. But God told me that not to worry. And I knew that. I was calm. She asked me to assist her. I said, you'll be fine, because it wasn't us. Then I could see it before we left that there was going to be some challenge, but victory was going to be ours. And because I see it in dreams and like waking up, but Satan met its match.
Amen.
Because we were there. God was all the way with us. And even with the kids that came, it was like amazing. That day in the morning, I was controlling crowd, doing everything, running here and there, because I played jack of all trades over there. And I was called that there was somebody outside of the clinic. They call me, it's like, I am the rescue. So I'm always, and I went and see. When I saw there was a lady laying on a little piece of tower in front of the center. But as you were coming, the smell was so bad. Wherever you were, you could smell it. Everybody was like, couldn't even. But when I walked in, I saw her laying there. And that was her wound. That stank that bad. And I look at her, when I looked, and I saw that was one of my mom's first cousins. She came in to tell you that this lady, all her life, everything, because I know her story, she got married didn't work. She had 2 kids. She ended up raising the 2 kids there by herself, doing laundry for people, seamstress, so she could raise their kid. When I saw her, I said, hey, what's going on? What are you doing? And she said, oh, I said, do you recognize me? She said, yes, cousin. And I said, what happened? When I look at her, we're talking about breasts. There was that one breast. There was no breast. And it's just a wound, juicy with like pus and everything. And she was all covering it with her hands. She only had a little on the shirt. But things are not great for her, finance-wise, and her kids, they are in Florida, but look like they never get in touch. She was laying in there. Nobody wanted to come close because she smelled. And she was covering it. I was talking to her. We talked, and she said, wherever I go, they turn me down. They told me that they can't do anything. And as she was explaining to me, in what I know, the knowledge that I have, I could see that was breast cancer. It's not like the type of breast cancer that you would have the inside. This one is open. It's like a pageant disease, what they would call. And it's spread, the way she was explaining, her bone, you can see the cancer metastasized to her bone, to everything. And except her lung, because she's still breathing. And I said, that's not what we do here. We only take care of bones. We do not do this. How come you let yourself so bad? She said, wherever I go, they turn me down. So I come here for you to. And when everybody closing their mouth, and I said to the driver, why don't you take her? Because there was nothing we can do, but I'm going to try. Take her home, because right now we won't be able to do anything. And then later, we would pack, because this wound needs to be covered. Because fly was around, and it's so bad. Most people spend, and that's why she went home. Then I had all the other nurses that I talked to them about. Then they came and see. And then all of a sudden, 3, 4 of them said that, what can you do? What can we do? Because I said, it's cancer. The only thing we can do is just take care of the wound, because it's infected, and it's not gonna be, she will die but at least she gets some care. I'm telling you, all these people, the nurses with the heart, they just take it like it was their own thing. And they said, okay, this one went to Paki to get some stuff. The other one went to the warehouse. They said, and they proposed, so we go to see her, to her house. That smelling lady, cousin or not, family or not, where everybody else was running away, they proposed that we go to her house. And the team, they packed everything we needed. And I asked, God said, give me some morphine for her, and medication, because she was in a lot of pain. And you know what? When they say cancer in the state, terminal stage, and no medication, nothing. And these ladies just packed everything, gabapentin and things, and they said, well, I said, since I'm not the team lead, so we need to ask for permission, because if the team is going, they said, we're going. And you could see the three of them, they were like crying, tears falling into their eyes, and they said, whatever you guys want to do, I am in, count me in. But they were the more mature one in the troop. And Loretta, finally, the team was going to the village with the yoke, and they decided to go. So we split the more mature one, because I know when the devil's at work, you need people that can rebuke the devil. Because not everybody can go places. You can, and the team that got divided, the mature one went to her house, and then the young one went to the village to her. That's when they met that guy, that same day. Then we went to the other side of the village, and we went in. It was raining. We showed up. You could see the love of God. I mean, when you guys are saying that you're serving God, it's supposed to be in action, not in words.
That's right.
And Sister Loretta, Jennifer, Colleen, Jean, and me, we were there, and it's a one little room, one room house. Her bed is in the corner, her utensils and everything is that one. And then we walked in, and she was so happy. She said, I heard you could have come, but when I saw the rain, I said, God, don't let that rain stop them from coming, because I understood that she was alone. She was alone, and not really isolated, because your kids, you don't hear from anybody. And that's when God showed up. We went there. You should see the nurse. Jennifer pulled her hand and then just wash this thing and then wrap it. And we taught somebody there how to clean. And he was there. We gave him instruction. We did it so he could do it as a nephew. So he could do it, because this thing needs to be covered, because it smelled so bad. We did that, and we give him medication for the pain. And then we put, Loretta was all over that lady, like giving love, touching.
Wow.
And it was like amazing, the love that covers, and she felt it. She said, thank you. And we prayed. We prayed with her, and we left. And as I'm saying, nothing we were doing, because as human beings, sometimes we tend to go away, to run away too. But this time, and God was there and telling us, this lady needs. Yes. And she felt for that moment the love of God, and they all were saying that before we left. And we left. And the testimony in this little small side of the town, everybody knew we were there. Though it was nighttime, most people didn't even see us. Everybody knew. They came to thank us, so I said, don't thank us. And
That's right.
I had a church. She told me that they never heard of her kids if I know where they are. In Haiti, there was this thing that once you are here, everybody thought that we all on the same town. So they told me to find, if I can find my daughter. And I said, I don't promise, because I want her to die alone. At least she would hear from her kids. And I was on it as soon as I came in. I called, I went online, I wanted to find a phone number, I couldn't. At the end, I found the husband. Her husband, who didn't care about her, but he could give me the daughter that nobody heard about, nobody. They all were asking me. Some reason, somehow, I found it, and I brought the news to them and said, your mother is terminally ill, you need to call home, at least before, so she doesn't die alone. But I know God is with her.
Yes.
But at that trip, this whole trip, the whole team, the whole everything, God just worked everything together. And as we were coming back, actually, here was the van, the van, the young one, we went different places. Funny, as we were driving, and then here is the bus in front of us. We were going back together. And the young man was in the van.
Wow.
And as we all were directing to the center, we went to the center, and then that's when we heard that emergency, and we all get into it. So, you know, when God is making provisions, when God is putting things together,
Yes.
let him put it, because he doesn't make mistake,
Yes.
and everything falls into places. This whole trip was like a wonder, but Satan knows to whom he's dealing with.
That's right.
And that's what we get from God. And I thank God for that. Keep in your prayer, keep the lady, the sick, because they not only need medical, they need the spiritual thing. But me, I was at the center, every surgery, every emergency that come, everybody was laughing at me because I was around them. They were giving medical care, and I'm like, God give you his life, but you better know what to do with it, because that's a second chance. And I was telling to the young man, the little one, everybody I can give them a Bible, because that's what he was telling me to do. So I said, I may never see you again, but here, you better do something, because no doctors goes to the soccer field and wait for somebody to fall, to pass out, so it can be resurrected. You better know that was God's word, and you better serve. And they promised me, they all from the team, because the friends were there, and they said, we are not playing soccer anymore, we're going to church.
My Lord.
I said, praise God for that.
Amen.
Praise God for that. And then keep the team, keep the whole in your Mivo, and when we go there, because you know it's a challenge.
Yes.
And now that we are doing the spiritual, not only the spiritual part is showing,
Yes.
and Satan is not happy.
Amen.
So please keep on praying for us.
Amen. Praise. Yes.
So you enjoyed the trip? You did.
Hello. So I got to go to Haiti last week,
All right.
and I can say for the first time it was the first time I was able to go to Haiti and experience a country on its own terms. No grim occasions, no serious anything, because the very first trip to Haiti was sort of a tragic one. The month after, we were supposed to see my grandpa on my dad's side for the first time, but a month before he passed away, and we spent 2 weeks in Haiti. 2 long weeks I will never forget, and that sort of tainted the country a bit in my own eyes for a while. Not just the heat, but sort of like I was not prepared for how things were there as in the U.S. It's rather, in the U.S., it's all fast-paced. You just 1 hour to next hour to next hour, then it's evening, then it's food, then it's bed. Haiti, it's all slow-paced the way through. Like life, it moves at a much different pace than most Americans are used to. And I did have this sort of same experience back in Haiti this time, but thankfully it wasn't with the added weight of a deceased relative. It was with the company of an entire team, and with the ability to witness what orthopedics really is like. I mean, the whole medical side, because I did various things, from whether it was like counting pills at a pharmacy or helping my dad set a little girl's leg that on my first day. I was the company of people with like-minded people, and we were all sharing the heat together, and at the same time we were able to sort of put our frustrations together into helping anyone and everyone around. Where is I again? Yeah, turning our frustration to helping these people. And at the same time, I was also able to go to places in Haiti I never typically went to. I went to, such as, for example, we went to a sort of a hike up a mountain into a rather historical site for Haiti, because up here in these mountains was not just one, but several fortresses, not built by the colonials, but the Haitians themselves. And here, these Haitians stood and made a strategic stand against the French, holding the line all the way through, making history and preserving their right to freedom, to make the very first successful slave uprising in human history. And I also got to visit the village to see the more down-to-earth side of Haiti, where there's like no buzzing of phones, no cars, no anything, just simple dirt, simple houses, simple animals, but amazing people.
Wow.
Familiar community.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
And it's kind of amazing how these people right now in America, we have all this technology to meet with people, to agree with people, and talk to them all the time, yet more and more it feels rather isolated. But in Haiti, they don't have that, yet they have what we sadly here are lacking most of the time, an actual community.
Amen.
That's
Wow.
right.
That's right.
Wow.
That's
That's
right.
right. That's right.
That's right.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's
And I was
right.
also thankful for this trip for being able to see a much brighter side of Haiti that I never got to for the past 4 years, and also to gain a bit of not that I disrespected Messin in any way, because make no mistake, people who work in Messin are dedicated no matter what. Just so that if the alternate universe theory ever comes to be, maybe I'd follow my dad's footsteps.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys know that in 2 weeks we're gonna steal mom and dad. Pastors are going with us to Haiti, and we're gonna keep spreading the word and sprinkle the Holy Spirit on everyone who's passing by.
I'm going.
One of the things I think Dr. Etienne forgot to say, which I think would be helpful, and it just came to me as he was talking about he did nothing and the Lord spoke to him, and you're the only one that gives this young man a chance. The Lord brought him back to life, but he came back to life, but who would have been able to give him the sustaining IV? Nobody but your team. Where would he have gotten that? And that came to me as you were speaking, because in Haiti, they can't give you nothing unless you pay for it. I mean, you won't even get a Band-Aid unless you pay for it beforehand. And here's this team who would have given him an IV? I mean, nobody, right? They wouldn't have been there. So he'd have died again, and this time wouldn't have come back to life. So that's why God had you there.
Thank you all so very much. That was awesome.
Yeah.
You know, I had heard some of the testimony. I hadn't heard it all, but I knew it had to be very powerful for what was taking place there. So I was quite excited. And I think, Dale, what you said there is very important to me. We may be talking about all the technology we have here and all the, the homes we got and all this stuff here, but the one thing we don't have is a community. Wow, that was a powerful statement within itself.
Yeah, it was.
We don't have the community like we have over there. It reminds me back to the days when we were children, back when I was a child. It makes me think because we had communities then.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there was no doubt about it, boy.
Oh, yeah.
The community, it took a community to raise a child. I believe that because I knew that, Lord, if I did something wrong, I wouldn't dare go home and tell me the neighbor spanked me. I would never tell them when I was coming home from school that man up on the hill, Mr. Sims, where it was, caught me and spanked my behind and sent me home. I would never go home and tell my daddy that Mr. Sims spanked me. Because if I got home, I got another spanking. And I didn't want, because I was out there making the family look bad.
Yeah.
No, I didn't do that, buddy. So,
Yeah.
we don't have that today.
That's right.
I mean, they can't even chastise you in school to tell you anything
That's right. Yeah.
without getting in trouble. So that statement is very powerful.
Yeah.
They got something there, and that's community. I'm glad you received that. Plus, I know you got a whole lot more out of it. You can write a book. I know my first trip to Haiti, what I learned while I was there was very exciting. I still have a message I want to give, but it's not going to be long. I'm going to hit on it because I think it's so very important that I hit this message today. And I know we got communion afterward. So give me 25, 30 minutes at least so I can go through this. Because there's some things I've got to get this on our minds. And I gotta get you to understand that God's working in your life.
Amen.
And I want to say this about the ATN family because you guys have been so powerful in what you're doing. Satan don't like it.
No, that's right. That's
I'm going
right.
to tell you right now, Satan don't like it.
That's right.
He hates what you're doing. When the Bible says one will put 1,000 to flight, two will put 10,000 to flight, his ultimate goal is to break you down so you don't be able to get that 10,000.
That's right.
And I'm saying what? I will not, under any circumstance, stand here and let him try to block off what God is doing for you guys,
That's right.
what you're doing in the life of people.
That's right.
Not just in Haiti, but you're affecting people's lives everywhere you go. You're affecting lives everywhere you go.
That's right.
So one will not just put 1,000. You all are going to put more than 10,000 to flight.
Yes.
Because that's the power that comes through Jesus Christ, knowing him as Lord and Savior. That's my God. He's not going to let that happen. Anyway, let's get back. Let me share with you how I come up with this message. It's very strange because it's in reference to priorities in life. And we find ourselves getting ourselves in predicaments that our priorities get all mixed up and we get ourselves in trouble. It's amazing that this message came to me from playing golf the other day, Patrick. It was amazing. He made a comment to me. Say, horse had to leave. The horse leave here, friends? Did he? It's amazing. I'm playing golf with this young man. And I'm hitting this ball and I'm doing everything that I can. And he says, Pop. I said, what's up? He says, your mind's not on the game. I said, my mind is so on the game. Played a little longer. He says, Pop. He says, your mind's not on the game. He says, we're out here to have fun. We're out here to enjoy this time. This is a time when you should be out here enjoying this. I said, I am. Played a little longer. He says, no, you're not. He says, you're not playing the game. He says, your mind's somewhere else, but you're trying to play the game. He says, you're out here to enjoy this. You don't know how much that impacted me. And then I thought about it. You know what? He was right. My mind was not on the game. So I come to the conclusion of this. If whenever you get ready to do something, whatever you're doing should be the priority of what you're doing. Because if it's not priority, your mind's going to be one place, and the priority is going to be somewhere else. And I thought to myself, my priority was not playing golf at that time. And so priority hit me. And I says, okay. And so the back nine, I did a little better. Because I took his advice. And I says, okay, I'll get this back thing out of my mind. And I'll start giving golf my priority. What happens in our life is we find ourselves doing things that's not the priority of life. So I'm going to read a lot of this because my time is short. I would like to expound on some of this stuff, but I want to say this. You're having a very special, a very personal and significant conversation. Let's say you're doing something. My wife and I, for example, and we're always, we like to have dinner together. We sit down and have dinner together. Or sometimes we have someone in the home. And sometimes we're sitting there talking with someone. Sometimes we're counseling with people or doing different things, and we're doing some things, and then all of a sudden, the phone rings. Or someone knocks on the door and then blocks off what you're doing. Most of us at time would do what? We would get up and we would answer the phone, or we'll go to the door. And because of the interruptions have become our priorities in our culture. Those things have become the priorities in our culture. And so we got to change that. Our lives tend to skip from one urgent interruption to another. Neither do I. I don't always, I'm working on one thing and an urgent interruption comes from somewhere else. I get pulled into this, I get pulled into that. But never do I stick to what the priority should be. We get lost. Our lives tend to skip from one urgent interruption to another. And all the while we keep missing what is very important. What are the things that matter most in life? True priorities of life. How can we distinguish true priorities from apparent priorities? Listen to that. How? Wow. Can we distinguish true priorities from apparent priorities? Like a ringing phone, for example. Like somebody knocking on the door when you least expect it. Or you got a plan for something else and somebody comes in and breaks it. The priority changes. That becomes a priority, and you really lose the true thing of the priority. The Bible offers some very good answers to some of these. I want to say this before I do it. Sometimes priorities do change. But that's all right. But there's also some things in life that priorities will never change.
Amen.
I might be working in my job and all of a sudden something happens and yes, I got a priority. I got to take care of this first. In fact, if I was going to work every day, my priority would be what? Get to work on time. I wouldn't let nothing stop me from getting to work on time. You know why? Because that better be a priority. Priorities are very important. Preparation. Make sure you're going to be there on time. If I had a doctor's appointment, you know what time? 10 o'clock's your appointment. What are we doing? We're busting tail. What? To make sure, because that has become a priority. Sometimes priorities change, as I said, but then there's times when priorities will never change. In Mark 12, 29, 30, I'm going to give you some scriptures. I was going to read some about them. I'm going to give them to you. Jesus replied, the most important commandment is this. Hear, O Israel, the Lord your God is the one and the only God. And you must love the Lord God, your God, with all of your heart, with all of your soul, with all of your mind, and with all of your strength. The priorities of priorities is what? Loving God.
That's right.
That has got to be number one.
That's right.
When we love Him, we must also love the world that He loves. We have got to love the Lord Jesus Christ with all of our heart, our soul, our body, everything. We have got. That's one that never changes. That's always going to be the same.
That's right.
You cannot change that. The second priority in life has got to be your wife, your spouse. I say wife because I'm a husband. My wife would say my husband. But I'm saying your spouse has got to be number one. That can never change.
Right.
That's a priority in life that cannot change. If you ever get a change, you're going to be out of whack. You want to find some issues, get that one changed. Start putting ministry in front of your spouse. Start putting children in front of your spouse. Start putting whatever in front of God.
That's right.
You got some issues coming up.
That's
We
right.
got our priorities mixed up. Some priorities never change.
That's right.
How can I tell if God is really my first priority? Deuteronomy 10, 12 and 13. What does the Lord your God require? He requires you to fear Him, to live according to His will, to love and to worship Him with all your heart, your soul, and your body, and to obey the Lord, the Lord's commandments, and the laws that I am giving you today for your own good. That's all Scripture, Deuteronomy 10, 12, 13. You've got to learn to do that. When you do that, now you realize your priorities are getting straight. Oh, I'd like to expound upon that, but I can't do it today. I might have to make this a second one, I don't know. Exodus 23 says this: do not worship any other gods beside me. How can I tell if God is really first in my life? Do not worship any other gods. What is other gods? It could be almost anything. They had a calf. Oh, shut up. Anyway, I don't want to hear that. Calves. They made a calf of gold, and you know what? They started worshiping that calf.
Yeah, that's right.
So they start making gods. Golf can become one of your gods if it becomes priority in your life. It all right, you can go ahead. You can be quiet back there too. See everybody? So we can put things in our lives that can cause us to have some issues where we don't recognize God as being the priority of our life. We can take on material things. Our home, kitchens, can be the priority of life.
Yeah.
We got to be careful. We put so much money into so many things and they become your priority.
That's right.
These things cannot come before God. The reason some of us don't come to church because the bed becomes our God. Oh, well, I shouldn't have gone there either. So in Joshua 24:15 it says, if you are willing to serve the Lord, and you say you are, then choose this day whom you will serve. If you say you're going to love the Lord, you say you're going to worship the Lord, and you say you got someone, choose today who you're going to serve. You're going to serve somebody.
That's right.
You're going to serve somebody.
That's right.
But I say this, as the man of my home, my responsibility is this: as for me and my house,
Right.
we're going to serve the Lord. Now you come to visit my home on Sunday morning, I got news for you. You come to church with me on Sunday morning. That's why I got folks who won't come and visit me on Sunday. They'll come Saturday and leave Saturday evening. Because Sunday morning, you know what? Pastor's going to church Sunday morning. Even when I wasn't a pastor. As for me and my house, we was going to serve the Lord.
Yeah.
So if you come and visit me Sunday morning, you're going to church with me on Sunday morning. I remember as a kid, it was the same thing. If I wanted to take my darling wife on Saturday night, I better be up on Sunday morning. Because next week there was no dating. My daddy said, if you can't go to church, you can't go see her either.
My Lord.
So man, I would run to church on Sunday morning. Man, I wanted to take her to the Dairy Queen and be a buy a bowl on the top, the Dairy Queen with the girl on top. I wanted to make sure she got all of those things. So what? I would be at church on Sunday morning, so afternoon I could take her out to the Dairy Queen. Priorities.
Yeah.
As for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. In Luke 12:34, wherever your treasure is, there your heart and your thoughts will be also. If God is the center of your life, you will make relationship with Him your highest priority.
Yeah.
I didn't say just knowing Him. I said your relationship with Him has got to be a difference.
Amen. That's the word.
I know you all. I know you all. But I got a relationship with this woman. I got a special relationship with her.
Yeah.
Why? Because she's special to me. And so I look at it, if God is special to you, you should have a relationship with Him. And everything you do should be, oh Lord, it's all about Him. How do I really know what's really important? 1 Samuel 14:35. Saul built an altar to the Lord. Oh, this is so important. And this was the first altar he had ever built. Listen to this. Don't confuse what's urgent with what's important. Don't confuse what is urgent to what is important. Saul finally got around to building an altar. This is after he had fought so many wars and killed so many folks. It says, so he built an altar to God. Months and possibly years after he was first anointed as king. All this time. The urgent had taken away what was really important to God. He was urgent about being the king. He was urgent about doing what kings required. He was urgent about doing all of these things. After all of that was over with, now he thought about, let's build an altar to God.
Yeah.
And what was important to God was the altar. So he took what was urgent and he moved it in front of what was important to God. How many times in life do we grab a hold of things that we think is more important than God?
Yeah.
To us it becomes urgent.
That's
But
right.
it's important to understand one thing. What's important to God? So that's got to be our lifestyle. We got to understand that. Seek His will in all you do, and He will direct your path. That's one of my favorite verses, Proverbs 3, 5, 6. Mark 10:31. Many who seem to be important now will be least important then. And those who are considered least here will be the greatest then. In other words, things will change. Those who we think are so important. In fact, I go back to my high school years. I got kids, men and girls and everybody else that I met when I was in high school. I got to be careful. That I thought was very important. I thought they were somebody. But who are they today? Nobody. I don't even think about them. I couldn't tell you their names. But at that time, they were important. But see, the things that's changed around. They are no longer important to me. But what's important to me now is what has taken place. There's a change that has taken place.
Yeah.
So those that I'm here today with have become important. My relationship with Christ has become more important. Oh, I knew about God then because my daddy said I better know about it, and my mama taught that, but today it's different because the relationship has become more important. Putting God first is the most important thing we can do. If all of your priorities focus on things for yourself, you're being misguided.
Good.
If you think your priority is everything about me, it's about me, it's about me, it's about me, it's all everything I do is about, I want this and I want that. If it's all about me, you're missing the point. You're missing about who God is. We're very much misguided. How do I set my priorities? Deuteronomy 10, 12, 13. What does the Lord your God require of you? He requires you to fear Him, to live according to His will, and to love and to worship Him with all of your heart, with all of your soul, and to obey the Lord's commandments. That's all He wants you to do. Joshua says, choose you this day who you will serve, but me and my family are going to serve the Lord. I can say that over and over and over again because that's where it's going to start at. It starts in the family. There is no greater priority than loving and obeying God. Nothing affects our eternal future as significantly as keeping God as top priority in your life. It doesn't just happen here. Look what's going to happen down the road. Because one day you're going to meet your Maker.
Oh, yeah.
And the thing is, how have you accepted Him? Was He priority in your life? There is no greater eternal future than accepting Him. 1 Kings 3:9 says, give me an understanding mind that I can know the difference between right and wrong. Let me live my life to give Him praise.
Amen.
And to give Him glory and to give Him honor. Tenaciously seeking after God's wisdom is the way to discern right priorities. 1 Samuel 14:36. Then Saul said, let's chase the Philistines all night and destroy every last one of them. Then the men replied, we'll do whatever you think is best, Saul. But what I say the priest said? The priest says, oh, we better ask God first. That's very important. Because everything we do, we better get the wisdom of God in it.
Amen.
Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not to your own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge Him. He'll direct your path. Acknowledge Him first. That's how you're going to get it. Get God's input before you set your priorities. Oh, I know I'm rushing through this. Hold this. Let me get some more. How can I develop the righteous priorities? In Proverbs 3, 5, 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, as I said before. 1 Kings 3:9. Give me an understanding mind so that I can govern your people and well know the difference between right and wrong. For who by himself is able to govern great nations all on their own? You need the wisdom of God to be able to do this. Matthew 8:22, Jesus told him, follow me now. For those who are spiritually dead, care for their own dead. Let them go, let the dead take care of the dead.
Right.
But those who are alive, let's move and keep on doing what God's called us to do.
Yep.
Let the dead marry the dead. Yep. Putting God first in your life is not only your first priority, but it also helps put all your other priorities in order. If you got God first, everything else will fall in place.
Yes.
Because if you're looking at His Word and seeing what His Word says, now all of a sudden you're going to be able to do it. If what you think and what God says don't match up, guess who's wrong? So you got to take His Word and understand that's His priorities. Those are the ones you got to run by.
Yes.
How can you develop the right priorities? As I told you that before. Putting God first in your life is the only way to get your priorities straight. What are some of the benefits of living out your accurate set of priorities and the dangers of living out the wrong priorities? Psalm 128. Oh, y'all got to write this one down. Psalm 128, verses 1 through 4. Write it down. I want you to read this one later on. I'm not going to go to it right now, but I'm going to read it. Listen to this. How happy are those who fear the Lord, all who follow His ways. For you will enjoy the fruits of your labor. How happy you will be. How rich your life. Your wife will be like a fruitful vine, flourishing within her home. And look at all those children. There they sit around your table as vigorous and healthy as young olive trees. That is the Lord's reward for those who fear Him. Wow, I like that one. In fact, I like it so much I'm going to read it again. Proverbs 128, 1 through 4. How happy are those who fear the Lord, all who follow His ways. You will enjoy the fruit of your labor. How happy you will be. How rich your life. Your wife will be like a fruitful vine flourishing within your home. And look at all those children. Wow. There they sit around your table as vigorous and healthy as young olive trees. That is the Lord's reward for those who fear Him.
Yep.
That's a reward. You wonder sometimes why things aren't going right. Maybe you don't have God a priority yet. Because He says this is the results of it. And His word, when it goes forth, doesn't return void. It always accomplishes what you sent it to do. So, how simple can it be? Proverbs 14:26 says, those who fear the Lord are secure. He will be a place of refuge for those for their children.
Yes.
Wow, the word is powerful.
Yes.
That will be a refuge. Psalm 127 and 1 and 2. Unless the Lord builds a house, the work of the builder is useless.
Yes.
Unless the Lord protects the city, guarding it with sentries will do no good. It is useless for you to work so hard from early morning till late night, anxiously working for food and to eat. For God does what? God gives rest to His loved ones.
Amen.
The proper priorities bring true happiness, joy, delight, and abundant life. What more could we ask, especially when we add the love and the presence of God to it? Wow, the difference. What happens when we fail to set priorities? Judges 17:6. In those days, Israel had no king, so the people had did whatever seemed right in their own minds. When we fail to set priorities, we will stop doing what is right in God's eyes. Wow. That's what's going to happen to us. Matthew 6:30. 6:30 through 34. Your Heavenly Father already knows all your needs. And He will give you all you need from day to day if you live for Him and make the kingdom of God your primary concern. So don't worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will bring its own worries. Today's trouble is enough for today. I don't have to worry about tomorrow. I got enough troubles for today.
Yeah.
If I can just handle what's going on today, tomorrow will take care of itself.
That's true.
We're so busy worrying about tomorrow, and today is tearing us up.
That's right.
Tearing us up today. Because we're so much worried about tomorrow. The Lord says, quit worrying about tomorrow.
That's right.
Quit worrying about tomorrow. Let's take care of the day. We got enough issues today, and believe me, we do.
That's right.
From day to day. What are some tests to determine my priorities? In Haggai 1:9. You hoped for rich harvests, but they were poor. And when you brought your harvest home, I blew it away. Why? Because my house lies in ruins, says the Lord Almighty, while you are all busy building your own fine houses. Oh, let me go back and read that. Somebody didn't catch that. Haggai 1:9 says, you hoped for a rich harvest, but they were poor. And when you brought your harvest home, it blew away. Why? Because the house lies in ruins. Listen, it says, my house lies in ruins. My house lies in ruins, while your house is flourishing. And you wonder, where does the money go? You wonder where all the stuff, all the things you're bringing home? God says, you wonder what happened to it? I blew it away. It went to waste. It was like putting money in your pocket with holes in it. What was happening with it? Because everything you got, because I wasn't priority in your life. Your house was more priority than my house. God says your priority is more important than my house. He says, while you're flourishing mine is falling apart. Because my house lies in ruins, says the Lord Almighty, while you are all busy building your own fine houses. Luke 12:34. Wherever your treasure is, there's where your heart will be. Priority is the scale on which our love for Christ is weighed. We focus most on what is more important to us, to those things that we love the most. Those are the things that we focus on. Those are the things that we grab.
Yeah.
The proper priorities bring us true happiness, joy, delight, and abundant life. What more, we ask, especially when we add the love and the presence of God to it. Man, how can I put it any stronger that if you got God in your life, His desire for us is to have abundant living. He says it's not just a little bit. He wants us to have it abundantly. But we fight Him on it, tooth and nail. We let the world tell us one thing, but God is trying to tell us something else. He says He'll pour out, He said He'll open up the windows of heaven and pour out you a blessing that you can't even contain.
That's right.
But we have to realize that we got to believe in Him. We got to stand by His word.
Yeah.
What should be my priority concerning the pursuit of money? Proverbs 2, 9, and 10 says, honor the Lord with your wealth and with the best part of everything your land produces. Then we will fill your barns with grain and your vats with overflow with fine wine. If you just recognize God first. Deacon Roy was talking about that this morning. What are you going to do? You got to give to God first. He's only asking for a little bit while you take the mass. He's only asking for a little bit while you take the mass. Proverbs 23:4. Don't worry yourself trying to get rich. Why waste your time? Proverbs 27:24. Riches don't last forever, and the crown might not be secure for the next generation. 1 Timothy 6:9. People who long to be rich fall into temptation or are trapped by many foolish and harmful desires that plunge them into ruin and destruction. Pursue most what lasts longest and strengthen life the best. The Lord will be around forever. The Lord will be around forever. The Lord will be around forever. Your riches are not going to be here forever, I guarantee you. Long after material things are disappeared, He will give you greater joy than riches could ever give you. Getting our priorities straight. What should be my priority concerning the pursuit of knowledge? 1 Corinthians 8, 1 and 3. You think that everyone should agree with you or with your perfect knowledge. While knowledge may make us feel important, it is important that really builds up the church. Anyone who claims to know all the answers doesn't really know very much. Everybody that says, I know some of everything, I know everything, really probably don't know very much. But the person who loves God is the one God knows and cares for. Dr. Etienne says, as I laid hands on that man, I had no idea what I was doing. I was in the wrong. My knowledge had nothing to do with what I had to do there. My knowledge did not help me at all.
Exactly.
My knowledge did not help me at all. He says, but I'm telling you what, those who say they know everything, he could have got up here and said, in my medical background, I knew I was supposed to grab the back of his head, and I was supposed to shake his head 19 times, and he was going to be revived. That's what I was taught. I didn't work.
Right, that's right.
Got up here and says, I didn't know what I was doing.
Jesus.
And so I had to trust God. See? And so I can tell you many times, I don't know what I'm going to do when I get up here, but I got to trust God. I don't know everything. I wish I did. If I'd have known everything, I would not be talking about the priorities today. I'd have been talking about something else. But I know I don't know everything. What should be my priority concerning the pursuit of achievements? As God's messenger, I give each one of you this warning. Be honest in your estimate of yourselves. Measure your value by how much faith God has given you. How much faith? Because he said he gives everybody a measure of faith. How are you using the measure of faith that he has given you? How are you maturing that faith? Are you sitting there saying, you know what, I've got enough issues. I've done everything I know to do to take care of this. I've done this and I've done it. You haven't got a measure of faith. Because God said if you trust him, don't trust in yourself. I can't trust in me, but I can trust in God. And he says, I'll get that for you. I'll take care of you in those things. He's a messenger. He says, trust him. Many who seem to be important now, I've already read that. I'm going to go through that again. But we need to keep in mind, God's messenger, I give each of you this morning, be honest in your estimate of yourself, measuring your value by how much faith God has given you. God has given us value.
Yes.
He has given us faith. So I'm saying to you today, we've got to keep in mind our priorities are so important. Satan's ultimate desire and ultimate goal is to do one thing. Move you off of where God's moving you.
Amen.
If God's moving you in one area and God's already given you a priority to attain and to do something, and you know God, and Satan knows God's going to get a blessing from that, Satan's job is to do what? Block it.
Yeah.
Don't let it happen. Pull it away. Let something sound more important than what you're doing. The most important thing that you can do is to trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not into your own understanding, but in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. You've got to follow through. That's your priority system.
Yeah.
And again, I say this. Always got to be God first. That never changes. Got to be spouse second. Got to be. Anything else, you're getting out of order.
Yeah.
Anything else, you're out of order. And if you get out of order, you're going to have destruction. Because that gives Satan an open door to step in and to do what he desires to do. So let's keep our trust in the Lord. Amen? Amen. Give God some praise. Give God some glory. I rushed through it. That's okay. Because I think you got the gist of what I want you to understand. There's some things you just have to know. Some things we need to do. Now we have to go into our communion service, okay?
Good word, honey. Good word. Priorities.